lighting enhances everything. And when we're looking at lighting, we want to look at three sources. It's great if you can get three sources of lighting into each room, especially the important rooms: living room, kitchen, master bedroom, bath. So we have what we call primary lighting. That's general illumination. That's like an overhead light that really lights up the whole space. Then secondary lighting would be task lighting. So that would be a light directly over something, similar to a reading light, or a light just over the range. Okay, that's task lighting. And then we have mood lighting, and that's lighting just to set the mood. A lot of times we use lights from the floor pointing up behind a plant, for instance, to give that mood light. Here we see in this photo, we've got the mood light here behind the plant on the right, and then also one behind the plant on the left. And then we have our task lighting, which is just directly over the dining room table. So that's lighting up the eating area. And then we have our overall illumination coming in through the windows. What we're going to go through now is what I call the Feng Shui secret. 6 main factors that we want to look for, engage in, and develop in staging our home properties. So I'll go through them one by one. S stands for street. E is for entrance. C, create space and flow. R, room of first sight. E, engage senses. And T, transcendental. So over the next few lessons we're going to go through each of these and find out why this Feng Shui secret is so important for creating that special feeling people get when they view the property. Now we're going to look at our room by room analysis. What exactly do we do in each case? So we'll start from the outside and move in. So again, the initial approach to the home is its curb appeal, its first impression. This should be the first thing we focus on in doing our Feng Shui staging analysis. I want to show you a home that was done recently, and in order to create space, we want to create a sense of space with the furniture arrangement. And this home had sort of a cluttered, sort of an outdated look, and we did not bring any extra furnishings in or anything. We just worked with what the homeowner had, which is what I do probably 80% of the time, is really work with what the client has to reduce, refresh, and renew. And in this home, just by simply moving some things around, we created a much more bright and open feel to the living room. So much better. Here's the before and then the after. It really pops now when you come in. It really doesn't have a neat, clean, open feel to it. So here we are after. Now this is stage. Again, before. And you can see there's small appliances up on the counters and whatnot. And then after it's staged, we removed everything from the counters except for a couple specific pieces. Now the toaster in this case is alright, although when I'm showing the house I make sure that the cord is unplugged. But because it's got this stainless steel effect, it brings in another sense of elegance, since stainless steel is extremely current and popular right now. And it creates a triangle between the toaster, the hood of the range, and the dishwasher. And I'm going to bring in this concept of triangles of color as we go. We see another triangle in this photo. We see the green apples creating a triangle with the plants on either side of the sink. By creating triangles of color, we get the eye to move around the space. It's a very closely guarded secret of stagers that creating these triangles of color are really what makes a room pop. Here we have our color wheel, and the monochromatic color schemes draw simply from just one of these pie shapes. So let's say we're pulling from this yellow-orange here on the right, and we use this center orangish color as our dominant color, then we can use the secondary and accent colors from either side of it. So we're staying within that one pie shape, we're staying within that one family of color, just using different shades of the same color. Now, the analogous color scheme is using a color from one of the pie shapes and then drawing your secondary and accent colors from the pie shapes on either side. So again, if we use this sort of yellowy orangish tone, then we want to draw from this side and also draw from this side in order to create our color scheme. Now, a complementary color scheme is when you draw from the pie shape that's exactly opposite. So again, using our example from the yellow-orange pie shape, if we pick this color, then we can accent it by picking one of these colors. And now I'll give you an example of each of these color schemes. So first we'll look at the monochromatic color scheme. So here we have colors that are very similar in color, just varying shades. So we're playing off this green, basically this green color. So we can see our wall color, our trim, our accent, and even our fabric colors are all in the same family of green. The next one we'll look at will be the analogous. Now the analogous is slightly different, so we're drawing from either side of that color. So if we start with this, the color of the wall, which is blue, we're going to pull from the purples and the greens on both sides. So you see we've got the fabric is more of a green, the accents are more of a purple. So that's your analogous color scheme. It's a little bit more dramatic than the monochromatic color scheme. And then finally we'll look at the complementary color scheme. Now this one's a little bit more active. So this one we need to be careful with. So we're drawing from, in this case, sort of the greenish yellows, and then opposite that is this reddish orange color. So it really makes that wall pop out. And this can be very, very effective, especially if you use complementary color as an accent. With the showcasing, we have to figure out, are we going to use the client's furnishings? So that's assuming the home is either occupied or vacant but still has furnishings in it. Are we going to rent furnishings? Or will we use our own furnishings? So over time, as a stager, you build up an inventory. And it's sort of a general rule that if you have 8 houses worth of accessories, you're pretty much full. And you also have to consider storage, so you may need a warehouse space or a storage area to keep everything. But what I like to do is each job purchase a few things, whether it's pillows, artwork, accessories, and over time I'm creating a collection of things that I can just draw from without having to go out and purchase them or rent them. But I'll get into the whole rental process and getting the home furnished if there are no client furnishings available. Now here's a look at the contract that I use, and you're welcome to download this, and you can change the logo, you can put your own information on. We need to have a contract, so when the initial consultation is done and the client wants to go through with the entire package, then they need to sign a contract. Also in the contract I put in a blessing ceremony. You want to use groupings, you want to be very deliberate. Usually odd numbers of things work the best. So if you have some antique books, for instance, set up on a book stand, a nightstand, then have 3. If you have some small, maybe statuary, if it's a group of 3, it's going to be more pleasing. Odd numbers usually work better. Now in the marriage corner, because it represents couples, we can use something in pairs. That's fine. So a pair of lamps, a pair of framed pieces of art, photographs, something like that is fine. In the next session, we'll talk about marketing your Feng Shui staging practice. Where do you find clients? How do you interface? How do you come up with the best ideas? How to move forward? and we'll talk about creating a presentation so you can present your work. So I'll see you in the next session.